Welcome back to the deep dive. We really need to talk about what just happened with Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you were anywhere online this past weekend, you probably felt it. It was like an earthquake for the fandom.
It really was.
We're not talking about just a simple press release or, a new action figure. This was a coordinated, massive expansion.
A total treasure trove. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what the report we're looking at calls it, and it's accurate.
It is.
Usually we get news in, like, little pieces, right? A movie teaser here, a game trailer there.
Yeah.
This was a whole strategy dropped on us at once.
It feels like a roadmap for, the next decade of the franchise, doesn't it?
It does, but it's more than that. It feels like they're finally confident enough to just stretch the elastic a bit.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, they're not just relying on the current timeline anymore. They're going back to the start of Super, they're pushing out the deep space, and, this is a real shocker, they're jumping centuries into the future.
Okay, that future jump is the one that's been rattling around in my head, and we'll get there. We have to. But let's start with the animation news.
The heartbeat of it all.
Exactly. The big headline was Dragon Ball Super: The Galactic Patrol.
A title that is just loaded with implications.
Right. The report says we're getting the return of our beloved Saiyan and the pals we've grown to love.
So, the core cast is back.
The core cast is there, but adding Galactic Patrol to the title, it almost feels like a genre shift, We're so used to tournament arcs.
Or bad guy lands on Earth, we fight in a wasteland.
Yeah, that. But this sounds different.
Well, it is. If you've been following the manga, you know the Galactic Patrol isn't just some background detail. It's a legitimate law enforcement organization.
So it's more of a space cop show.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
It suggests a procedural expansion of the world. It's not just about who can punch the hardest anymore. It might be about, jurisdiction.
Yeah.
About the actual structure of the universe.
So they're finally going to explore the universe they've been saving for 40 years.
Exactly. Well, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
It's less exploring in like a Star Trek sense and more cleaning up the mess.
Huh. Okay.
The report says it promises to further explore the expanse of the universe. To me, that means we're moving away from those abstract tournament backgrounds, the purple swirls,
Right.
and we're getting back to distinct planets, different cultures, maybe even different kinds of tech or magic.
That's a great point. The threats might not just be my power level is bigger. They could be trickier.
And that completely changes things for Goku and Vegeta. They can't just blow up a planet to solve the problem if they're, technically deputies.
It adds a layer of responsibility.
It does. It adds restraint.
Right.
And it makes the story about the scale of the cosmos, not just defending Earth for the 100th time.
I love the idea of a police procedural with Super Saiyans. But then, just as my brain is wrapping around that, they drop this other anime announcement.
Oh, this one?
Dragon Ball Super. Beerus.
The revamped version.
Yeah, let's talk about that word, revamped. The source calls it a fresh take on a classic story.
And that it will redefine our understanding of Beerus's antics.
Okay, but do we need this? I mean, Battle of Gods is a classic film. The anime already adapted in Super. Why go back again?
That is the big question. And look, there are two ways to see this. The cynical take is that they're just stalling for time.
Buying time for Galactic Patrol to get produced?
Exactly. But if you focus on that specific wording, redefine our understanding, I think something more interesting is going on.
You're thinking it's a perspective shift.
It almost has to be. We've only ever seen Beerus from the perspective of the Z-Fighters. He's this scary cat god who wakes up and wants pudding.
Right.
But what was he doing before that? What are the internal politics of the gods of destruction? The stuff we completely missed because we were just watching Goku learn how to become a god.
So less Goku fights Beerus and more the life and times of a destroyer.
Potentially. Or, and we have to be honest here, it could be a retcon. Dragon Ball has never been shy about rewriting things if a better idea comes along. Maybe there are details about Beerus's relationship with, say, the Angels or other universes that are crucial for where they're going next.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. If you're building to something huge in the future, you might need to go back and plant some seeds.
It's a high-risk, high-reward move.
For sure. You mess with Beerus, you're messing with a fan favorite.
But if they add real depth to him beyond just food and naps, it strengthens the whole foundation of Super. If it's just a prettier reanimation, then yeah, people are going to be mad.
Speaking of people being mad, or at least completely confused and excited, we have to talk about the game.
This is the one.
Because if the anime news was a surprise, this was a system shock. AG-1000.
This is the announcement that changes the entire architecture of the lore.
The title alone, AGE 1000, is a question mark.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't follow the data books, where are we normally in the timeline?
So Dragon Ball Super and the recent movies, they all take place around age 780, maybe 784.
Oh.
So when they say AGE 1000, they're not talking about a little time skip. They are jumping over 2 centuries into the future.
2 centuries. So everyone we know is...
Gone. Biologically speaking, yeah, most likely.
Sure.
It's a complete wipe of the slate.
The report calls it an entirely new Dragon Ball world. And it says details are scarce, but there's one detail that makes this whole thing legitimate.
And it's the most important detail.
The fresh characters are designed by Akira Toriyama himself.
That's the stamp. Without that, you could maybe write this off as some studio experiment.
Mm-hmm.
But Toriyama's involvement means this is his vision for the future.
And we've seen this date before, right? Hardcore fans might remember this.
I was hoping you'd bring that up. Yes. Dragon Ball Online.
Right.
That was an old MMO set in Age 1000. And in that lore, the Earth had changed completely. Humans learned ki control. The Majin race became a thing.
So you think this new game is revisiting that concept?
Well, the source mentions a new protagonist, and then we got a sneak peek. It doesn't say Goku or Gohan. To me, that strongly suggests they're taking another run at that online idea, a world where the spirit of the Z-Fighters lives on, but the actual people are just legends.
Which is both terrifying and incredibly exciting. I mean, think about the freedom that gives the writers.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about why didn't Goku just instant transmission over and fix it.
But because Goku's been a statue in a museum for 200 years. It solves the power creep problem overnight. You just reset the scale. A new villain doesn't have to be stronger than Broly. They just have to be a threat to this new world.
You can have actual stakes again.
Yes.
And we can't show you the visual of the new protagonist, but the report describes the look as undeniably promising. If this character connects with people, this could be the new face of Dragon Ball.
It's their next generation moment. It's the big attempt to build a legacy beyond the original cast.
But they aren't just abandoning the current generation.
No, not at all. Which is smart.
Because alongside all this future talk, the report spent a ton of time on the immediate roadmap for Dragon Ball. Sparking. 0.
You can't sell people on a future 2 centuries away and leave your current players with nothing.
And they are definitely not getting nothing.
Yeah.
Bandai Namco laid out a whole plan, and it starts, now. January 26th, we get this Mission 100 update.
And it's a complimentary update. It's free.
Why is that distinction so important?
Because for a game like Sparking, 0, a huge part of the audience is casual. They love the single-player stuff. Mission 100 sounds like a big single-player drop.
Right.
Giving that away for free keeps the disc in the console. It keeps people engaged while they wait for the paid DLC.
Which is coming in waves. In the spring, we get a survival mode, and then summer is the big one, a major DLC with new characters, costumes, stages, the works.
It's a standard live service plan, but it's confirmation that Sparking, 0, is meant to last. They're not just going to dump it and move on to Age 1000.
But there was one detail in the report, in the platform list, that just made me stop and reread it 3 times.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Did you see the hardware it's coming out on?
The Switch 2 listing.
Yes. It lists PlayStation 5, Xbox, Steam, and then just casually drops the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2.
That's incredibly rare to see that in a public report before Nintendo's even shown the console.
Was that a mistake? Or is that a flex?
I think it's a signal. Think about how Sparking 0 looks. It's visually intense, tons of destructible environments.
The current Switch would melt.
It was struggle, for sure. By listing the Switch 2, they're basically telling us the new hardware is powerful enough to run current-gen games without major compromises.
It tells you the specs without telling you the specs.
Exactly. And it says Dragon Ball plans to be a launch window franchise for Nintendo's next big thing.
Yeah.
That's huge for getting the game into as many hands as possible.
It's wild that a game update can become a hardware leak. Okay, so let's recap. We have the Space Cop procedural with Galactic Patrol, the potential history lesson with Barus,
The distant future with Age 1000.
and the very tech-forward present with Sparking. 0. It's a lot to process.
It is, but you see the pattern, right? It's diversification.
So
For so long, Dragon Ball has just been the Goku show. Now they're building all these different pillars that can stand on their own. If you like lore, you've got Beerus. If you want something totally new, you have Age 1000. If you just want classic fights, Sparking. Zero is right there. They're widening the net.
And of course, they're holding back the biggest details. The report points to one specific event.
Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour 2026.
In Los Angeles, mid-April. And the report says this is where the suspense finally breaks.
I would bet my house that's where we see the first gameplay for AG-1000.
You really think so?
They have to. You can't tease a new protagonist designed by Toriyama and then just go silent for a year.
Yeah.
April's when they show us how this new world actually plays. Is it an RPG?
Yeah.
A fighter? An MMO like the old game?
And probably where they finally explain what revamped actually means for the Beerus anime. April feels like the moment this promising foundation, as the report calls it, gets his first story built on it.
This whole weekend was the teaser trailer. Battle Hour is going to be the main event.
It's exciting. It really is. But there's also something a little melancholy about it for me.
Oh, that's an interesting take. Why?
Well, looking at all this together, especially Age 1000, I can't help but feel like we're preparing for a goodbye.
A goodbye to who?
To Goku's era. Think about it. We're going back to re-examine the beginning with Beerus. We're expanding the current universe with Galactic Patrol, and then we leap 200 years into the future where our main characters are, at best, legends.
So you're asking if this is the transition plan?
Yeah. I'm asking you, as someone who watches this stuff constantly, are we witnessing the beginning of a Dragon Ball era that doesn't actually need Goku?
It's the ultimate question, isn't it? Star Wars struggled to move past the Skywalkers. Marvel struggles to move past its core Avengers. Can Dragon Ball exist without the Orange Gang?
And Age 1000 is the test.
It's the ultimate test. If players and viewers embrace a new hero in a new world, the franchise becomes truly immortal. If they reject it, well, I'm sure there's another Dragon Ball lying around somewhere to wish Goku back.
But it feels like they're finally brave enough to ask the question?
They are. And frankly, the franchise needs it. You can only raise power levels so high before numbers stop meaning anything. Resetting the clock or fast-forwarding it creates new stakes. It's healthy.
Healthy but scary. Change always is.
Which is why they gave us that whole Sparking Zero roadmap. A little comfort food while we wait for the new menu.
Well, I am definitely ready to see what's on that menu. April really can't get here soon enough.
Agreed. It's going to be a long few months of everyone just speculating wildly online.
And we will be right here to break it all down when it finally drops. Thanks for helping me unpack this absolute mountain of news today.
Anytime.
And to you listening, whether you're out there polishing your Kin Blast or just refreshing your Switch 2 pre-order page hold onto that excitement, we'll see you in the next deep dive.